Let me just rapid fire through the plethora of unnecessary issues that I've had with this iPad, and then I'll explain why I think it's happening. For example, you can't rearrange your Safari favorites by just dragging. You instead have to go into a convoluted separate side menu. Your favorites bar disappears when you scroll down web pages, meaning that every single time you want to go to one of your favorites, you first have to either scroll back up or move your cursor to the top of the screen before you can click them. You don't actually get a mouse pointer. You get a mouse blob that sort of snaps onto things, so it's quite a bit less precise than using a Mac. And it makes navigating to that subscribe button that bit more difficult. So if you're not using an iPad right now, then a sub to the channel would be smooth. Some websites don't work. The iPad seems to get very confused between virtual keyboards and physical keyboards, and sometimes just decides to give you neither. There's no progress bars when you're transferring or opening files, so you're just left there waiting until something suddenly appears when it's eventually done. Or should I say, actually, if it's done. Because the software is much more aggressive with shutting down background processes than a normal computer. So sometimes Amazon purchases, for example, they don't go through unless I keep the window open while they're processing. And there are uploads that I left going on in the background that I later realized silently cancelled themselves. Apps sometimes behave in really unintuitive ways. Like, for example, when you're writing documents in your web browser, the iPad teaches you that a double tap highlights your word and then a triple tap highlights your paragraph. But then using the Docs app, it does something completely different and actually expects you to fiddle with a trackpad trying to grab and drag this across. Many apps are really surprisingly poorly formatted for iPad. And don't even get me started on the Instagram app or the fact that there's no official calculator, so you have to resort to downloading someone else's and having a permanent ad stapled across it. Multitasking isn't very good within your apps. Like, if I want to type out a new email while looking at another one that I previously sent a while ago, you actually can't do that using the Gmail app. So you end up then having to use multiple different tabs of Gmail in your browser, the same way that you would on your Mac, but then that kind of defeats the main benefit of having these apps that are specifically designed and optimized around this mobile operating system.